Welcome to Paul Ricard for possibly the wettest race in the history of the AIC. It is as wet as it can possibly be, a thunderstorm over here in the south of France, and the returning Chris Amon, drafted in at the last moment for his wet weather prowess, has promptly put it on pole, denying Jochen Rindt back-to-back poles, the old Ferrari teammate on the front row. Carlos Reutemann impresses in third, beating Alain Prost, showing good development from Lotus to out-develop McLaren. Prost, the championship leader, fourth on the grid. Jean-Pierre Jarry goes well here often, and he goes from fifth today, ahead of Jack Hicks, he's ahead of Eddie Cheever. Peterson, second in the championship, looking to close on Prost and avoid being passed by Reutemann, down in seventh. He's joined by Eddie Cheever. Last time winner Jean-Pierre Beltois is very close with his teammate Gonzalo Rodriguez. They round out the top 10. Jody Scheckter probably disappointed with 11th, but looking to go forward. He's partnered by his former teammate Alessandro Nannini. Mario Andretti disappointing qualifying compared to teammate Amon, but he goes from 13th alongside Carlos Pache. The Alfa Romeos had some problems with their qualifying runs, with Depay going to be on intermediates to start the race, which is not ideal. He's ahead, however, of Rolf Stommelen. Sebastian Bourdais, once again, Ligier qualified on intermediates, and they start 17th and 18th with Bourdais ahead of Jabouille. Mauro Baldi edges ahead in the Arrows qualifying battle by beating Johnny Servis Gavin. They're both on inters.
Indeed. So, not long to go then for our second consecutive wet race of this season, back to back from Canada to France, and it's going to be rather intriguing. This, as you've commented before we start the stream, probably the wettest race we've ever seen in the AIC, although I'm almost sure we've had a 5 mil race before. I think probably at Spa, most likely. But anyway, nearly 10 seconds till the lights out for what's going to be the halfway point of the season, halfway through this race. In the championship, Alain Prost with a reasonable lead over his teammate, but we'll hope to extend it even further. The lights are out, and we are underway, and once again, there's that issue at the start of this race where someone's passed before the lights even went out. I saw that yesterday in Formula Junior. It's happened again. But anyway, we're underway. Amon remains in the lead. Scheckter was overtaken by Depay. Was that Stommelen or Depay? I don't even know. God knows what has really happened there. But anyway, at the front, it's Amon and Reutemann, first and second. Rindt down to third. Prost remains around where he was in fourth. Ickx up into fifth.
Yeah, good start from Ickx. It's going to be, I think, a high push race, as it was in Canada, because the cold conditions, in spite of the temperatures. Jarry and Ickx do battle around Le Beausset.
Indeed.
Stommelen with a brilliant start up to 9th.
Yeah. Pretty sure I saw Scheckter being passed by Depay briefly. It might have said Stommelen though, but I didn't read it. That was off the start. I saw that yesterday in Formula Junior. It was rather weird, but it was the only weird thing so far, so we're alright for now. As Depay has to go to wet tyres, of course, because he started on inters. It's a shame for the Frenchman, as Rindt seems to be attacking Reutemann.
Arrows are here, but they are not
pitting. No. I don't think even the push level is actually making that much difference compared to last week. I mean, it's making even less of a difference. But there we are. Rindt back ahead of Reutemann now, but that's only briefly. As it's so wet, you can barely see anything on the Mistral straight in terms of the 3D view. It's just blurry. It's biblical.
Well, Amon leads as Jabouille passes Carlos Pache, so Brabham not really making any progress.
Yep. We've got reduced amount of rain now, so a bit more lighter. Not much more lighter though. It's going to probably... It might actually go down a couple millimetres actually with this rate. I don't know. We'll see. It won't make a difference to the tyres that they're going to pick though. It needs to be under... 3 mil basically for Inters really. But even then I think they would be similar pace tyres, as Rindt seems to be trying to attack Amon again and go into the lead, but a race that of course Amon's led since the start. Prost trying to keep away Jarry. It's finally one of the arrows at least, as Reutemann elects to boost ahead of Amon to get away from him. Maybe a smart move, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. Jarry trying to shape up to do something against Prost, but it's not happening. as McLaren once again move forward, or at least attempt to move forward. Reutemann then into the lead. Rindt trying something on Chris Amon here, the two former teammates, the wet weather specialists. Yeah, this is going to be a very interesting race because it is just push as much as humanly possible and you still have no tyre temperatures. Well, Amon's in the complete AI, so he'll probably be able to do whatever he wants. It's RWB who are going to be in the situation of only being able to use it once, but they are in a decent position at the moment with the field spread. As Prost and Rindt side by side. Very difficult with the tyres, the tyre temperatures. As it was in Canada, it is just too cold and the wets don't generate temperature at this rate. So yes, Rindt back in the lead. He led a lot of the race in Canada. I think that's Jabouille and Bourdais moving forward by using a lot of boost. As Peterson cannot shake off Jackie X, the Belgian, really giving it his all.
Yeah.
This
is all quite horrendous, I must say, but it is what it is.
Yeah, well, shame for Depay, he's the defending winner, the home driver. I think the best bets for a French win today are Prost or Chariot. X passes Ronnie Peterson. Good stuff from the Belgian. Yep. Getting into a good position.
Yeah, he'll fancy himself in these conditions as Rindt still tries to beat out Reutemann on the line. But to no avail, really.
Yeah, and they're getting away from Prost. Prost can't really manage to do anything here.
Not the moment, but he'll be happy where he is. It doesn't really matter, to be honest. Reutemann is another close championship contender. He's on about 93 points, isn't he? Which is about... How many does Prost have? 103, or is it more?
109, I believe.
109, so yeah. 16 points behind then. But that's still obviously doable. It's Peterson, that's the immediate rival behind him, his teammate, but I think he's only a couple points ahead of Reutemann, so at the moment Reutemann would jump to second in the championship.
Yeah, not good for the second tier of Scheckter down in 14th, battling Andretti. He's
got no pace. He tried using, as I said, he tried using boost earlier on. He used about 20% and only got 2 positions and got stuck up behind both Aston Martins despite using it. They were just defending, it seems, and he couldn't do anything about it. Which obviously is a new feature of the game, and has been since, what round was it? Was it Baku our first round with wheel to wheel?
Yeah.
Yeah, indeed. Which was round 3 of the championship. We're at round 9 now. Of 17. I still think there's probably a good chance that Rint will run out of fuel anyway, even though they have elected to put more fuel in the car compared to last week. I just think it's...
Ix is making an extraordinary amount of progress. He's passed Chris
Yep.
Amon now.
Yep. Indeed. Where's his teammate? Shiva just a couple positions behind, so he won't be too phased by that. But Ix, the starring man for RWB at the moment, in these wet conditions.
Yeah. Peterson wants to clear Amon, and does. This judicious use to boost through the final corner.
I mean, the problem with these wet races is there's not too much to talk about, really, yet.
I think, yeah, we'd be slow burner. It'll be interesting to see.
Which is why last week a lot of the action ended up being focused on the front and not a lot changed. It's just the nature of it, really, and that's probably going to be the same here, really. So it seems like Rint's the one who's got the ultimate pace at the moment.
Yeah.
But that would be expected because the Tyrrell is a top 4 car and he's got the wet weather ability. Unless, of course, Lotus have decided to make Reutemann wet weather ability for this race, which sometimes they have done for other things, such as street circuits, and then changing it back for something else.
Yeah, they've changed it several times. It is strange, but
yeah.
There we are.
In my experience, it doesn't actually make as much difference as someone thinks it does. But there we are.
It's now going for Jean-Pierre Jarier.
And he's got
a French expert, which is Jarier. So is that Amon? Someone's on the boost there. Might have been Jarier, but there's a bit of boosting going on.
I think it might be Amon.
Yeah, or Amon. But, yeah, the top 2 are really getting away. Prost can't really live with them.
Are you noticing anything that's even much worse with the tyres as the stint's progressing? I think it's getting close to the stage where you might even dip into the blue.
The wear is not... It's not
obviously bad. We know that because we looked at the readouts.
But the wear is... It's not going down at all. You'd expect it to go down almost on a linear kind of... gradient, but it's just staying at about 2.2% a lap.
The thing is, though, you can't back off, because if you do, you're just going to dip into a dangerous zone. So you have to be full pelt the whole race. There's nothing really to it. So it's going to be bad news for certain people, potentially, unless there is a mechanism for being able to save fuel without backing off. But there we are. It is what it is. As Reutemann seemed to want to challenge Rint. He was a bit slow in the last sector of the previous lap, I think, and that's why Prost obviously is dropping away, and Ix is now on the back of him and is making... I say steady progress. I mean, most of the progress was made at the start, obviously, and then he's slowly worked his way up even further into now what's going to be a podium position at the moment, if he gets past Prost.
Yeah, he's really
question is, can he get to Reutemann and then Rint? That's the question. Further back then.
Ligier's on the boost.
Yep, that's Bourdais. Yeah, Scheckter just can't do anything. It's just a nothing race, really. He hasn't got horrendous pace, he just hasn't got pace compared to everyone else who's in a better position, really. And as I expected, the Brabhams, I think, are on the wrong push level. That's probably why they're nowhere, considering they should be quite light on fuel, as should the Lotus.
No, the Lotus won the heavier teams in Canada, and they were only overfueled by about a litre, so they were not in a terrible position.
No, yes, but of course that's their own choices, isn't it? For fuel loads. So, but anyway, it looks like Rint's getting close to a point where he's about a second ahead of Reutemann, which doesn't really mean a lot, to be fair. Will he try and go longer? Will anyone try and do that? Is everyone going to do the one stop, or are they going to think, yeah, we need to do 2? Because the wear... But as you said, the wear's not, bad. The pace is continuing. So they can do 1, I think, really, at the moment. That was a horrendous sector from Reutemann. He's lost nearly half a second already in this lap.
Yeah, that might be tyre temps.
Yep. But you have to push. You can't back off. I mean, you can, but it's just going to kill you.
Effectively, yes. As Ix into 3rd.
Yep. Past Prost. We're not seeing as much of the field spread, though, yet. Like we saw in Canada. So that's one thing. If you do run out of fuel, then you are probably more fucked than you were last weekend. Well, except for the Brabhams and further back, obviously, which is the pie and then the 2 arrows. But otherwise, everyone's basically almost on the same straight at the moment. With a few exceptions, but anyway. Now, what can Ix do in 3rd place? Can he tag everyone along as well? Can Prost keep up? You have to wonder. Yeah, this is not good at the moment. Chiva passed Eamon, who's slowly falling down the field from a pole position off the start. Not much he can do about it, because he's a conventional AI that will just use boost continually as Brent comes into the pits. And I think that's a mistake from the Tyrrell team, because that's probably based on what they scheduled. So that's
And he's gone
bad
to
news.
Inters.
So yeah, he's out the race now. What a shame for him.
Unless he can recover something.
No,
But
no, he can't, because he's going to spend.
so it's down to
Yeah.
down to Scheckter then to
Oh, that's not happening. He's got no pace. They've made a mistake by, obviously, what was scheduled by whoever previously set it before the race.
It's the advanced strategy not overriding, because the advanced strategy was set for Tyrrell to run as an AI.
Oh, no, it's not that. It's that it was set on Inters before the
It
start.
was no. It was set on Inters with the advanced strategies if there's more than 3 millimeters of rain, use full wets. But by joining, it's overridden that.
Oh, yes, but, yeah.
That's the problem.
Oh, no, yeah, but there's nothing to be overrid, though. Like, that's just the way it is. If you are a manager, you have to set the stuff yourself. There is no advanced strat, then. Yes, indeed. So his race.
Oh yeah, as soon as you join, there's no advanced strategy. Correct.
He's gone on to Inters again, which I don't know how that's happened because oh no, sorry, he is on wets. He's just at the end of the pit lane on 2D. But there we are. Not ideal for Rent. He's now out the race. A race he probably could have easily have won.
Yeah, arrows are very quick, I have to say, as well. As Reutemann is really
Yeah. I wonder if he can recover something though. Maybe. Well, he's gonna have to be so much quicker than the top 10 though. He's already about 30 seconds behind them, or 20. Yeah, so it's not really gonna happen, is it? There we are then. That's the end to his race, but maybe a bit more intrigue now with Prost and Ix at the front. You'd have to say Ix.
Yeah, I'm not convinced. I think RWB are going to struggle in norm. I don't think they're going to make it to the end on fuel, but.
You think not? Okay.
But anyway.
Yep.
We shall see. Yeah, so Lotus are on massive fuel save. Having nailed it in Canada on fuel, brilliant stuff from Lotus there. They are now on fuel save in Ricard.
Yeah. It's extraordinary that Scheckter has just got 0 pace.
He's on the right setup.
Yeah, I just don't think the Tyrrell's good here today.
His sectors, yeah, they're just not fantastic. For whatever reason.
He's just been continually slower each lap. It's not like he's been massively slower. It's just with 19 laps in and he's been slower basically every lap. I mean, he's faster than the car in front of him, Jarre and Bourdais, just a bit slower than him, but otherwise, further up, to be fair, he is much slower than the cars, such as Ix.
Has Stomlin pitted? Yeah, he has, so that's why Stomlin's dropped back. Depay is starting to make progress.
Oh. Ideal that it said Stomlin was on Inters.
But was he qualified on them?
Yeah.
And then changed, because it still says Ligier on Inters when they are certainly not.
Nope.
Yeah, this could be another race of Beltoir, or McLaren, or Jackie Ix.
I think it's not going to be Ix if you're saying the fuel's a problem. We'll see how McLaren are. Peterson's now with Prost, and then we've got Chiva, and then Beltoir's here, and Reutemann's obviously dropping back as the race is progressing because he's down to fuel save. But not good news for them because you wonder whether it will work, and at the same time, are they going to be quick enough? Not at the moment. Looks like Scheckter's coming towards Jarre now.
Yeah, I think Lotus have realised early they've got massive fuel save to do.
Well, I think Tyrrell are just going full pelt for it. They can't do anything else. They have to push. So we'll see how it works.
Yeah, so Peterson's going to move into the clutches of Jean-Pierre Beltois.
He's on the back of Cheever at the moment. Cheever having passed him. Some boosting further back. That the guys have already stopped. So Eamon's obviously the earliest one, and he's only 16 seconds off the lead at the moment. But all these guys are going to go for the one stop, obviously, so it's rather irrelevant.
I don't think they are necessarily.
I think you would be wasting your time not doing so at this stage. You would have already pit, I would have thought. If you'd have been there
I mean, what are the lap times like for people like Stomlin? They're way faster. So
yeah, but you'd cut your losses at this stage, I would say. You would just go for the other strategy, I would say. I mean, depends how much time you could gain with them doing the extra stop. I don't know yet. But I would have thought you would have already pit around lap 18, 17, that sort of range. Make the stints quite equal. Anyway, Peterson in, lap 22. Start of lap 22, he's pitted on the end of lap 21. Although the game will probably consider that he stopped at the end of lap 22, as it does. Depends where his pit box is. Anyway, so Ix in a comfortable lead, but Prost, you would say, the first real person of interest, if what you say is correct, but we'll have to watch out for that, I guess.
Cheever's now coming back at Prost.
Indeed.
So Peterson behind Stomlin. So the undercut is pretty significant.
Yep.
Eamon's actually coming back into this now.
I said that.
Top
He's only
driver
about
in
16 seconds off the lead, and he's pit so early. He's gaining a lot of time at the moment. Obviously, he's
So
gonna have
Jarier in.
Yep. Incredible.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a massive struggle for RWB to reach the flag with their...
Yeah, so you then would say, obviously, Prost and Beltois, really. Depending on how they are with their car. Can they get to the end? Really, the contenders at the moment. With the Lotus is struggling.
Yeah, I think Lotus are actually fine. I think they backed off, but I think they are actually fine in the grand scheme of it.
Yeah. And Amon as well, of course. Because he's gone so early. He's, just cut the time massively. I suppose Reutemann didn't lose more time there, to be fair. Bourdais slotted ahead of Jarier. But Reutemann's okay, he's 11th. Only behind Andretti, though. And, well, quite a few other people, to be fair, but they've all gone quite early.
Yeah, I suspect Peterson's going to end up in the net lead in terms of people who pitted. I suspect Peterson's going to end up ahead of Prost and ahead of Ix.
Of the guys who have gone, what, lap 20 onwards, yeah. Yeah. Once the other guys make their next stop, yeah. Which is going to probably be in a couple of laps.
Yeah, so Peterson's well ahead of Ix. I think Jabouille is going to be ahead. No, Ix is... So that's bad news for Prost. Prost did not need that at all.
No. Indeed not. I suspect Ren might just try and go as far as possible to only do one more stop. That's the only thing he can do. Because otherwise, it's going to be doing an extra stop again. Might still beat Scheckter that way, to be fair.
Yeah.
Because just Cyril don't have any pace. Just absolutely zero. Anyway, Cheever
So
in.
Cheever in. And been caught by Eamon. So Eamon's come into this, or back into this.
Yeah. Because
Rather
he's
significantly.
Yep. He's about, what, 9? He's about the gap that he was behind the leaders a couple of laps ago. 9 seconds ahead of Ix, who's the third. Well, no, to be fair, it's Peterson. That's the one of interest. He's only 6 behind.
Yeah, and
Then
he's quite quick.
yeah, at the moment, yeah, because he's got fresh tyres by a couple laps.
5 laps by the looks of it. But Eamon could win this. Many people could win this.
Indeed.
Cheevers then ended up 13th and behind Scheckter. Rint is not actually that far out of it. You could still get a point from this.
Yes, but he obviously should be potentially winning this today if Tyrrell end up finishing with enough fuel for the end. Really,
Yeah.
you'll be disappointed with that. But that's just because of the way that the car was set up before the race, because it was set up for Inter tyres, which weren't going to last as long in the conditions that were for Inters. They only last about, they wear about 4% more every lap, basically, even at 3 mil.
Yeah.
It's just the wets that last 2%.
Andretti's causing it. Andretti's blocking a lot of people here.
Yeah.
With a huge bottleneck.
I thought there was going to be a potential of there being a 0-stop race, to be honest.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be a 0-stop based on the final practice readouts, but clearly that's wrong given how much everyone has to push.
Well, it's 2%. It's 2%, not 1.
It was 1% in the last practice laps that I saw.
I did one before, just before, and it was still 2, so I think that must have been incorrect.
So Reutemann's now got a move on and past Jackie X.
Yeah.
Ross can't live with Jabwi.
Yeah. Anyway, when's Eamon going to be in? 2 laps? 3?
I'd expect it to be 31 or 32.
Okay. By then, will have Peterson passed him, potentially? At the rate he's going.
Yeah, but he's not that much faster. I mean, Stomlin's only made progress last lap, but he was on the boost.
Yeah. Indeed. Rint is literally right on the back of Scheckter, despite being on tyres that are about nearly 10 laps. No, well, about 6 or 5 laps older. It's just the wet weather ability being ridiculous.
Yeah, and I think that's what we're seeing with Eamon out in front. But
yeah. That said, Andretti sort of is okay, actually. He was looking okay.
Andretti on the boost.
Just can't make any progress now, because he's got faster cars in front of him. Including previous race winner.
This race has gone by very quickly, I have to say, given it's wet.
Yeah. It's not very long, though. It's only 48 laps. It's a short circuit as well. To just watch. Even though the length is actually one of the longer ones.
Peterson's been really quite aggressively hunted down by Carlos Reutemann.
At the moment,
yeah. Reutemann's come back into this quite substantially. I think
but he has used a bit of his boost, to be fair.
Yeah, but so's Prost, who's the next kind of contender.
Yeah. But relative to Peterson, I mean, obviously he's got fresher tyres though, so that is correct to assume.
Yeah.
6th, and then it's Prost has suffered for the fact that he's behind these 2 cars of Jabwi and X, but he's not really fast.
He's not really, he's not really pressurising them. He's not really.
But I think it's quite difficult to do that. I think it is quite difficult to do that against similar pace cars. They were all on the same straight last stint, so it's not like there should be much difference anyway. But he should be catching, let's say, the cars that have stopped earlier, but he can't because he's got too many cars in front of him at the moment. Anyway, here he is now, Reutemann on the back of Ronnie Peterson. As they continue to close in on... Well, they try and close in on Chris Eamon, but they're not doing it that much at the moment. I suspect if Reutemann was ahead, he might.
For all of Alpha's complaining, Stomlin's actually in a quite good position to win this.
At the moment, yes, he is. Reutemann passes Peterson briefly, but then again, now finally gets it as they head to Signes.
Yeah.
As Jock and Rint passes Jody Scheckter.
Rint's still in this for something.
Yeah, he's just going to keep going. He's just going to have to do that. Because otherwise, I don't think he can even pit at this lap, really. Well, maybe he could, actually, but he just might try and not. Because of the tyres, I think it depends on how long other people go. Yeah. I think they'll be all right for you as well. So, a potential lost wing then for Jochen. But now we focus on the actual contenders of this race, which of course is one of them being well, one of them looking like it was going to be Peterson, but maybe less so now. Looks like Reutemann might be in the driving seat along with Stomlin and Eamon.
Yeah, Reutemann's really come back into this. He's putting in a fantastic drive.
He is. You would say he's in the best position, to be fair.
Yeah,
Because these guys are now having to come in, and they're going to potentially even be behind Peterson now.
Yeah, and he's got a huge lead over Jabouille and over Ix. Although Jabouille might be able to do it on one stop.
No. Indeed.
So Peterson tries the undercut, doesn't work. Yeah, this is interesting. With 15 laps to go, are you going to gain 17 seconds?
I don't know.
That's the question.
I don't know, to tell you the truth.
Yeah. So Jarier, so Lotus are going for 2 stops by the looks of it. Are they covering Peterson? Are they thinking Peterson, hang on, he's done a thing here?
Yeah, potentially.
Eamon's the top 2 stopper, but he's blocking Stommel, and then the Bourdais and Schechter. Doom Rince just made a 3rd stop. He has Beltoir.
But he's not doing too bad despite that. Obviously he only did the 1 lap on Inters, but he's actually not far behind Jarier. He's got more boost and should be quicker now. So, yeah. I think something for Tyrrell to reflect on, really, that they needed to have changed their stop before the first stint. Well, before it ended, that is. I think Schechter should be in, but of course Roman's going to try and hang this out and keep going on. Get better tyres for the end, much better tyres. That's the thing. Undercut wasn't as much as I thought there.
Yeah, the undercut has not really been that powerful.
No, not the last 2 stint. Not this stint, that's for sure. Wonder if Ligier hope that they can get something from this. Probably going to be quite
Well, it's their home race. I'm sure they are.
But Jabri, again, is the one who's featuring, isn't he? Compared to Bourdais. Although Bourdais in the last few rounds has scored more. Well, he scored more since we had the new update, I think.
Yeah, by 6 points.
Yeah, but he also lost the result, didn't he, in Baku, to be fair to him?
Yeah, a little bit.
Well, not a little bit. He did literally lose a podium, but yeah.
Yes, but that was a fortuitous podium for...
Well, no, but it was fortuitous that in the end he got outscored by...
Yeah, no, I take your point.
But anyway, it's all developing now in the last part of this race. Ix has dumped all his boost, so that's them done for their boost usage. Wonder if they might have tried to save it for the end of the race, but clearly not.
Well, it's about recovering tyre temperatures.
Yeah, but Reutemann is going to be in a brilliant position here, I suspect, unless, well, they're just not gaining much time, really, so no, he's going to easily win this, I suspect.
Yeah, it looks like he is, unless he's too light.
Yeah, well, he's not. They're not. The guys behind, they're not gaining time at all. They're still 17 seconds off. They're not going down to about 12 or 9 or anything. It's only the people who have not yet stopped for their second time that are that distance behind. And they're on the same strat, basically, as Reutemann. So, yeah.
I am trying to remember if Reutemann pitted the lap before Prost.
Yeah.
Because if he did that, interesting.
No, they put on the same lap, I think.
Yeah, but it records it as the same lap.
True.
I'm not sure it was.
Well, yeah, it depends though. Like, yeah, but yeah, you're right. You are right to make that judgment. But yeah,
Zenny's going to hit the cliff. Jabouille's going to definitely hit a cliff.
Yeah. Yeah. I would just pit now if I was him. Just get out of the
Yeah.
way. Don't be on the cliff. Just get to the end. You should be... I mean, with the tyre advantage you got now, you should be okay. You should be able to recover it, I would suspect.
Yeah, Bourdais not in a good position. Materials and...
It's at the highest up that an Arrows has been. Baldy, that is. It's just extraordinary. That's
16th is pretty decent. I mean, Gamma finished 14th.
I mean, to be fair, it's because Depay has been ignored because he was on the Inters at the start, and also the two.
Well, go away. Jabwi's trying to battle Prost, which is a mistake.
Yeah, he should just pit, and he has done what I said he should do.
I don't know why he felt the need to do that.
Yeah,
As
they double
Reuteman's now catching Jackie X again.
Yeah. Indeed. Yeah.
Here we go. 10 laps to go. Eamon and Stommelen are in a position where they could realistically catch Prost for third.
Yeah.
And Peterson is lurking in the background with a lot more boost.
I mean, are they going to go to the end, though? I would have thought that surely not. Roman's...
I don't think the top four are going to pit again.
You don't think so? Well, Roman's in the best chance to not do that. Prost is in a precarious position relative to the people around him. Because
I think Ix and Prost are in the position where they don't need to pit again.
Well, no, I would say...
I think...
Well, no,
because Reutemann ended up ahead, was way behind Prost, and they ended up ahead.
Oh, well, no, yeah. Well, yeah, no, Ix, yes. But he's going to run out of fuel,
and
potentially.
Cheever. Yes, quite possibly.
But Prost is going to lose positions, I would suspect, unless Amon's progress dwindles. But also the fact that he's used boost, doesn't he? So... And Prost hasn't got many much left, hasn't he? Yeah, they're not making the progress I thought they were, because in the first stint, when you're on much fresher tyres, it was quite clear. You gain bunches of time, but for some reason that's now decided to die down.
It's getting less wet, so that's going to help the people who've pitted. We're down to 4.8, so it's going to help those who have made 2 stops as opposed to 1.
Yeah. In one case, 3 times.
Yes, well, that was an error.
Yeah, indeed. I might try and just get Rint ahead of Jarrier. It's a waste of time, to be honest, doing that. But anyway, at the front of the race, Reutemann should be okay, I would suspect. We'll see about Prost. He might be okay, to be fair, because I don't think there's... The other 2 stoppers are still quite a bit behind him. I mean, his teammate is 10 seconds behind him.
Yeah, Stommelen needs basically a second a lap, which he might have, but then it's the boost, which Prost has more of.
But he is, of course, recovering boost, to be fair. We'll see.
Yeah, but Prost is going to recover at the same rate.
Yeah, but his tyres, of course, are going to die as well, so the amount that he is quicker than is going to increase.
That is true. Very, very true.
Yeah, but I would say, obviously, Amon's going to struggle because he's an AI. And he was also one of, to further pit the same lap, both him and Stommelen.
I mean, Reutemann's absolutely brilliant today, I have to say.
Oh, yes, totally.
Extraordinary.
And Lotus did the correct thing, really. Although, I must say, I think without what Rint did, I think he would be in the contention as well, potentially. He's had to switch to a 2 because he's been on the Inters. He couldn't go to the end. If he tried, he would have been absolutely screwed.
Yeah, so Bradman last. Baldy's not going to catch Andretti, I'm going to say. As Peterson's now got Eamon in front of him. And Eamon is a bit of a hindrance, and I think Peterson is going to choose to get past the New Zealander.
Indeed. Further back, reaches in the top 10. Rint trying to get past Jabri, but they're pretty similar pace, but of course Jabri's got fresher tyres, that's the issue for Rint. But he seemed quicker in the previous lap, so he had to boost. But he's not much quicker. Not much at all. Which is interesting, but anyway. The tyre history thing is just rather screwed up, I must say. Other than the pit box thing, it's also just on the UI it just looks incorrect. For some reason, Depay says Marlboro Team A1 dot because it's all in the wrong place. It's just horrendous.
Yes.
He's actually using boost as well, which is ideal. I thought Smokey completely forgot about him, but there we are.
No, Stommelen on for probably 5th place because I think he'll get Cheever, but Peterson's going to pass him in about a lap.
Indeed. Yeah, so Prost won't. I don't think Prost will mind this too much, will he? To be fair, 3rd is okay. It's just he's going to lose points to Reutemann, obviously, but he'll take it.
Yeah, he'll lose probably 10. Someone's decided to be he wants to battle Peterson, which is not really his fight, so that's silly.
Yeah, minimises the damage anyway for Prost. Because I don't think
Eamon is coming on.
anyway.
I think Eamon's going to drop down to 11th behind Jabouille.
You think? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. I don't really understand why Scheckter is so slow. He's nearly a second slower, but I mean, he stopped a lap later than... Yeah, it's just horrendous. The wet weather ability in some cases is just horrendous, especially between the two Tyrrell drivers at least. Fair, it's the same between him and between Eamon and Andretti, isn't it? So yeah, it's rather peak. So now Peterson's here. I suppose McLaren though will just play it as keeping Prost ahead.
I have to say, Ix is doing a remarkable job.
Oh yes, totally he is. He is 2nd place at the moment. He might actually be okay, to be fair. I don't know how you're seeing it, but I think he might be okay. He might get a podium. We'll see. Maybe a top 5. Anyway, Rindt passes Jarry on the front straight. I don't know what's happening with Jabouille. He's got much fresher tyres.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a non-score for Cheever.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening because he's got fresher tyres, but he can't make the pace on any of the cars in front of him. Slower than Rindt, who's now coming up to the back of Rodriguez as well, Gonchi. So he can get back into maybe a top 6 potentially, which is going to be extraordinary because he hasn't really been better than Scheckter this season. It's just the last 2 races that have both been wet are going to get him ahead in the championship. A season which has been rather terrible for the Ockham-based team. Anyway, 2nd to last lap now. Reutemann is okay. And indeed, yeah, Tyrrell will be completely fine on fuel. So they've lost a potential win today.
RWB are struggling on fuel. And
how much have they got left?
Not enough. But
how much do you need for the last lap? You need about
2.7.
Yeah, I think Tyrrell are fine. They're on about... Well, we'll see. They might actually miss about a litre at the end. About a half bit of a litre at the end. I don't know. We'll see. Point of a litre, that is. Anyway.
Yeah, it's so weird to see Scheckter doing such a
terrible
poor job.
But there's not much you can do about it. 2.7, you said. Yeah, they're fine. Yeah, they're fine. They would have potentially won today then, which is not ideal, but there we are. It is what it is.
Ix is going to struggle.
Yeah. Anyway. Is Rindt gonna...
Get Prost? Yeah, I think he is.
I mean, he's gonna get onto the podium, which is rather unbelievable. Which is what I want to point out, that they probably should have won today. But anyway, here is Reutemann, who's gonna probably win as Jarier runs out of fuel. I don't know where he is. He's around 6th, isn't he? We probably should be focused on that, but I'm not. Anyway, Reutemann wins from Peterson and Rindt. Prost 4th. Jabouille 5th in the end. I did say they might get something out of it. Rodriguez 6th, 7th, Jarier 8th, Ix 9th, Stomlin 10th, Eamon 11th. Jody Scheckter only a second behind that last points place. 12th, Bourdais 13th, Cheever 14th, Beltoir 15th, Andretti 16th, Baldi not far off Andretti as well. Good race from him. 17th, Depay, 18th, Gavin, and of course the 2 Brabhams, 19th and 20th, actually still fighting over that position as well. Well, that was an interesting race, wasn't it?
It was a rather excellent race.
Yeah. I think I can equivocally say Tyrrell should have won today. But there we are, it's hindsight, isn't it? But, yeah. So Prost didn't end up minimising as much as he could have. He lost third in
He
the
took
end.
fourth, but
Yeah, he could have been third.
Jabri fifth. Rodriguez putting in a much needed performance.
Yeah.
Um,
Indeed. So it's probably time to go through the championship, I would have thought.
yes, I would say so. And it is Alain Prost who still leads on 121 points, but his advantage has been slashed to just 3 points, and it is Carlos Reutemann who is in second place in the championship now, behind the Frenchman Ronnie Peterson, a further 2 points back on 116 points. So 5 points cover the top 3 in the championship. Fourth, Jean-Pierre Jarry on 87 with a decent but not fantastic race today. Beltois, who failed to score, on 68 points, still in fifth. Jean-Pierre Jabouille moves up to 6th place. He's on 57 points now, ahead of Patrick Depay, who didn't score, on 55. Rolf Stomner only added 2 to his tally. He's on 53. Andretti and Bourdais both failed to score. They're still on 50 and 47, ahead of Dan Gurney on 25. Eddie Cheever on 20, who failed to score. Gonzalo Rodriguez vaults up the points standings with his good race. He's on 17 points now, ahead of Jochen Rindt on 16, moving up thanks to his podium. Jackie Ickx with a good race that didn't quite come off as it should have done. He's on 16 points too, ahead of Alessandro Nannini on 15. Chris Amon adds 1 point to his tally. He's on 13 points, tied with Carlos Pache. Jody Scheckter still on 2 points. Sadly, the double champion, and yet to score the 2 Ares drivers of Servos Gavan and Baldi.
Indeed. So we will obviously be back next weekend for the home race for much of the championships cohort. The British IGP, of course, which is going to be round 10 of 17. So until then, it is goodbye.